I want to present you Yasen Geshev, who is an artist, visionary, I would say, entrepreneur, founder and organizer of one of the biggest and important festivals in Sofia called Urban Creatures, which transform areas in Sofia which were not related with art at all. And in this way, I think that he transformed the atmosphere and people. Now he started a new festival, Sofia Lights. Also, as the first festival is located in not the central area of the city. I will not tell more about Yasen because I think that he could present himself best. But I want to say that the woman next to him, I can say the same about her because they work together. And everything that I can say for Yasen it is the same for Kalina. They are a real team and people with city, and they never stop thinking and doing things. So the floor is yours, Yasen.
Thank you, Biljana, for your strong words. I really am feeling a little embarrassed after this presentation. Guys, first I shave myself, so I really hate how I look right now. I had one beard, but I have this custom to shave my beard after a big project, and we just finished one of these. So, as Biljana said, next to me is my wife, my partner in life, in crime, in business, in everything. We do everything together, and I'm going to try not to bore you to death because we had so much artworks that we can show you, and we have summarized just the most important in terms of what we are doing as a mutual cooperation with Sofia municipality. I mean, we are developing art in the areas that have never been touched by art or artists or anything like that. And that's why we are trying to transform the thinking of the people living in that areas. And as you had the opportunity to see in this video, the beautiful parts of Sofia, I'm going to show you some of the dark parts of Sofia, and probably it's going to be very interesting for you. So first of all, I'm trying to share my screen. And to do this together with my audio, and I hope it's not going to act too much. Share sound, yes. So guys, are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Moving to the beginning. So our organization that we are working on behalf of is Urban Art Foundation. We both with Kalina founded it back in 2012. First, some short presentations of the members of the foundation, and what our main goal is indeed. So our main goal is to, as I mentioned already, to transform the way people are thinking here in Sofia, in Bulgaria. As you know, we had a difficult past during the previous communist period, and many things that you consider as a normal in your own societies are not so normal here. So having all this in mind, I'm going to the next slides. For me, it's very strange to present myself, but I can say that all my life I've been doing projects, different kinds of projects, sport projects. For example, I'm responsible for coming here in Bulgaria of the World Rally Championship. Also, I'm doing marketing projects. As I mentioned, we are consulting different cities how to develop themselves, and also many, many art projects. Kalina has a very strong marketing background. She has been working more than not 15, but even 20 years in the area of marketing. She has been working for some of the biggest brands in the world and also in Bulgaria. For example, the mobile telecom A1 was her latest regular employer and regular job. After it was 2 years or 3 years ago. After this, we are working together only on our own projects. Let's go to the other guys. Bosco is a member of Urban Art Foundation. He's very, very famous for his bizarre, strange, and dark way of expressing himself. You're going to have the opportunity to see it later. Also, Vladi is a very great person because for us, he works as a photographer, but most of the people around the world he's very well known for his dancing abilities and choreography abilities also. And the last member of our crew is Ivan Moskov. He's, how to say, the video guy, but he's much more than this. He's very famous director in Bulgaria, awarded multiple times for different ads, as well as music videos and short movies. And this is
the core team. It's very important to say that we are working like this core team of the organization, Urban Art Foundation. But when we are doing different projects, we are working with multiple different talents from different areas. And you'll be able to see that our projects are go in different directions, not only murals and
they are quite multidisciplinary.
Yeah,
projects.
So this is the core team, and on top of this, we are working usually with maybe 10 to 20 additional artists and
engineers,
partners,
and all kinds of guys with different talents. So, Urban Creatures, we started in 2011. I'm going to present you our latest project. I don't know whether, okay, probably this is better. So you can see we try to do something different, something that has never been done before. And we try to transform an enormous park, the Park of the Royal Palace in Sofia, which is located on the outskirts of Sofia, into a large white installation. I'm going to play you this video. It's 5 minutes, guys. Have patience. If you don't mind, to save time, I can speak over this video. So, can you hear my voice?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, what we try to do here is something which is completely different from what we experienced, all of us, in the last 2 years. All the digital shit we are deep down in, all the stress, everything else. So we try to create almost paradise, a Zen atmosphere in which you go with your kids and you're just alone but not exactly alone, but with your friends and family, and you have a rest. It's kind of the earth is stop rotating and you're there and everything stops and you're there. So it's not very sexy when you look it on a video. It's a great thing to experience this in life, but you can see how surrealistic it is. We were pretty amazed that tens of thousands of people visited this installation. And the weirdest thing is that I'm an artist. I can say right now this, but I'm trying to get used to this idea because all my life I was in the role of producer of different projects. And this is completely my idea, which I developed for the last 1 year. And probably this is going to be a new direction in which we are going to develop we are going to invest our efforts, because in order to create this project, we needed to create our own technology. And creating this own technology, we sought enormous amounts of different pathways, different directions in which we can develop it. And right now we are trying to first to make different types of installations, then to travel these installations to travel the world. And the third goal is to create a really big white festival in Sofia, inviting artists from different countries. For example, we are in contact with artists from Poland and France, and we are in progress to find other guys that we like very much. So the strange thing here is that people understood what we want to tell them. It's not very often. As you're going to see our next works, you're going to see that some of them are quite bold, if I can say so. So the next, what we are going to do next is to present you some progression, where we started and where it all went. We started here in the riverbed in the ghettos, concrete ghettos. I don't know whether you know Sofia, but there are enormous neighborhoods full of concrete buildings that are quite ugly. So we went in the outskirts of Sofia, in the very farthest part of this neighborhood. And we did this in 2011. In 2012, we repeated the event, but this time we made the joke because it was extremely hot in the first edition. We put 100 tons of sand, and we created the beach. The public was ecstatic about this, and the media. But as you know, okay, I'm not going to tell you the dark story of this. We experienced flood in the channel. That's why we skipped the channel as an idea. And we decided that we have to do something really that is next level. And at that time, it was the big murals. And as Bosco said once, drinking beer in our apartment, he said, yeah, Jaska, listen, man, we have to do some real serious shit, not these jam sessions. And but we didn't know how. That's why we took one school in this district that was completely vandalized, and we tried to create a project there. And in that moment, we understood how complicated it is to work in schools, because from one side, you have to do something that is safe for the children. From the other side, you have to do something that is interesting to the children. And from the third side, the parents and the administration must be agree with all this. So he came up with this artwork, and you know, the kids love it. I mean, nobody touch it with spray can or anything else. It's still in the same way as it was then in 2000.
This project was called Art versus Vandalism. It summarizes very well what we have done here, because this was a really...
We can't hear you, Kalina.
Oh, sorry. Do you hear me now?
Yes.
What I was telling is that the name of this initiative was called Art versus Vandalism. And it summarizes really shortly what it was all about. And it turned pretty good. And afterwards, we've done 1 or 2 more schools.
Yeah, but the funniest part about this project is a little event that happened. you know, we are going there. All the kids are hating us because we are going to paint over their graffiti. And when Boskus did the first wine, the kids were gathered behind our backs. And when Bosco did the first wine with the spray can, we heard, wow, no, wow, cheering, wow, also applauses, because they were able to tell how professional the first wine was, and that this guy is very good with the spray can. And we were like, whoa, we never expected this to happen. So we continued. In 2013, we invited the very famous Atom crew, for us probably the best artists in the world. And the funniest thing is that they were trying to learn the graffiti skills from our Bulgarian guys during the 90s. And 20 years later, we are learning from them how to do big things. And they were so polite to come and to work with us and to teach us some things. This is Bosco's work, the first work on a big building. He never slept before this work. I mean, 1 week he was not able to sleep at all. And the funniest thing here is that this is his own building. We managed to convince only his neighbors that it's okay to be there. And the third floor, right above the buildings that are drawn, are painted, are the apartment of Bosco. So this work here, it is very important for us. This guy is Grandpa Dobry, and some people called him beggar, but it's not a beggar. He's a very spiritual man who collected money, and he's the biggest donator of the Bulgarian Orthodox Church. And people was ecstatic about this because for the first time, a simple guy was honored by the street artists. And still it is very respected artwork by the public. Then in 2014, because we were not happy with the previous years and how things are happening and what the artworks are, we thought we can do it better. So we tried to do a whole building, and later we found out it's not the direction we want to go. It's pretty pretentious, but it's part of the history. So in 2015, we went into a very authentic direction. This is one of the main entrances in northeastern Sofia. And the letter says free. And we are talking about the fact that people living in the big cities are with golden chains because they're always striving towards money and status, and they are not free. In fact, this one is 112 meters long, and we are not going to do any more such big projects. This is Nasimo, one of our friends and artists. He's the first Bulgarian artist who started doing graffiti in the beginning of 1990s. So we are in 2016, and finally we find how to make a good project. This one is next to the place where we live, and you can see the context. I mean, before a couple of minutes you saw the beautiful video of Vasko Vasiliev, but now you can see the other parts of Sofia, and you can see the inheritance of the communist regime and the apartment buildings built at that era. And here in this photo, you can see the whole meaning of the whole story. You have an endless concrete, gray, ugly wall, and then something beautiful is breaking this wall.
And one very important detail is that this whole neighborhood was famous for its hooligans, because here it is situated one of the stadium of one of the biggest football teams in Bulgaria, not only in Sofia but in whole Bulgaria. And for many, many years, this whole neighborhood was known only for the football and the hooligans that are inhabiting the neighborhood. So after we started adding new walls every year and new projects, gradually this whole neighborhood is now transformed and known also for the art, and even the people that are living here are referring to the streets and the buildings by the name of the murals that are on them. So the people that are living in this building over here that you are seeing, they are, when they say their address, they're referring to, you know, the building with the bow on it.
The joke here is that when we did this piece, Bosco told we, you know, always you have to find some very good working explanation about the media and the administration, what you're doing there. And our idea was that this is the art, and we are the stupid guys who is writing the art and doing things. And one day Bosco came and said, Yasen, listen, this is official now. You're the bull, I'm the clown above. So this is the joke that we have. And here, in fact, here, this is the entrance of our apartment building that we are right now. So it is more, we are joking between us that this is a Pimp Up My Neighborhood initiative, the whole story.
And now we will see a video.
This video is going to give you a better context about the situation in the neighborhood. It's short, guys. Our friend Ivan Moskov was genius because he decided that Mongolian folklore music will suit best this neighborhood. And he's right. So in 2016, we proceed with our search of good projects. And this is the underground metro parking -2 level of the parking is huge. I mean, it's 40,000 square meters. And we decided that what we are going to do there is we are going to create a temple. We are going to put spatial music, amazing artworks of Nassimo, and also we are going to put one single laser beam that is not going to move at all. The rental guys were really amazed why the laser is not going to move. It's contradictory to their nature at all. But you can see the result here. I hope you can listen to the music, it's very special. The impact of this project was outrageous. I mean, people were visiting 10 times in a row. People were crying. People were hugging absolutely strangers in the dark tunnel. And they were ecstatic. And then we decided, okay, probably when you are talking about the soul, when you're touching the soul, it's the right thing to do. The music is very special because it's written by Bulgarian spiritual teacher Ben Saduno or Petr Dunov, which is the Bulgarian name. It's the arrangement of the music is done by Bulgarian music director Yordan Kamjalov in a temple, in a genuine temple, in the biggest temple of Sofia Alexander Nevsky, in the crypt of Alexander Nevsky. So all this gathered in one place, in one time, the effect was amazing. And then this, we decided stop with this religious bullshit. We are going to do something real graffiti. And as we joked, no plane, no fame. You know that in graffiti culture, there is one sentence, no train, no fame. So we decided we are going to do no plane, no fame. Somehow we convinced Lufthansa Technic in Sofia, at that time, probably the biggest investor in Bulgaria, that we are going to do something like this. And strangely enough, they said yes. And we had to go there. You know, can you see this one here? The red one. When we cross the red one, some nice guys with a pickup are coming and walk us in a very cold room to interrogate us why we left Bulgarian border. So everything there was completely complicated. We had only 23 days to complete the project. It was 40 degrees above zero, and it was impossible to work during the day. So we worked during the night. And every move of the plane is a couple of thousands of euros expenditure for the Lufthansa Technique. So we had to do everything pretty well engineered in the very beginning. And for example, here you can see how many equipment, how late in the night we work. As I mentioned before, this is Bosco. The joke is that when we did this project, at the end, one of our guys found out that this is probably the smallest plane in the gamma of all planes in the world. And we were, fuck, they are more bigger than this one. In 2019, we invited amazing artists from Argentina, which is based in Naples. Francisco Bosuletti, he used to work for the 600 noble families in Naples, and his works are next to Caravaggio. Also, he's commissioned by the Vatican, and very famous guy. And here we hired him for something small but very significant. This is the house museum of one of our greatest poets, Nikolai Vaptsarov. And he read the artworks of Vaptsarov, inspired by them, he created this. And the name of the artwork was Fate. And it's pretty beautiful for us, not for everybody, to see in word black and white image, but for us it's amazing. And we were very delighted that he was here in Sofia. We managed to work together. We managed to create this photo with white ink, indeed, very dramatic. Our friend Nedelch did it. And in 2019, we did something that we were very much, this is Bosco's way of saying thank you to all the artists in Bulgaria. This is next to the Opera House. Here on the right, you can see the Opera House. You can see the whole ambience. And the theme of the artwork is that artists are pretty fucked up. Sorry for the expression, but it's something that the truth, and they always get the turns and not in the recognition. And in 2020, we continued this direction that things are fucked up. This is St. George, our interpretation of St. George. And this is the COVID year. Yes, this wall was pretty hard for us because we needed 3 years in order to get to this point. At one point of time, this wall initially was intended to be done by Robert Proch, the Polish master, but tragically he died in 2009, in 19 years. And Bosco was really sick. We needed a couple of months to fix him. And this is our interpretation of St. George. In fact, we asked the Orthodox Church, the right hand of the chief of the church, and we explained them our motives, and they were, okay, guys, it's great. We are giving you our blessings. And it was very important for us because after these blessings, things started to happen really fast. And we were able to do this. This is not in the outskirts of Sofia. This is the very center of Sofia. The building that you see here is the Council of Ministry. So it was pure about our ego that we are in the very center of Sofia. But it's beautiful when we manage to transform one very dark place. And at the end, you are going to see before and after images. This is just to get an impression how big the artwork is. The Ministry of Culture, as I said. So you can see here in 2018, left side of the screen, what it was, and in 2020, what we did. So whenever we do a project, we have 5 very simple, basic principles, guiding principles. First of all, art is not competition. Many times people are asking us to do competition or to take part in such. We say this is the stupidest thing that we can do ever. We are not going to do, because it's not possible to compare Caravaggio with Da Vinci. I mean, this is the stupidest thing. It's not Olympic Games. The second principle is that we always are striving to do authentic work. It's almost impossible to be 100% authentic, but we are trying to do it as much as we can. And the other thing is that we are going, when we go after a certain project, we need to know that this project has a meaning, that it's not just an, how to say it? Yeah, it's not a simple decoration. We are not trying to do beautiful things. We are trying to do meaningful things that can make you think about a lot of different problems that you have never think before. And when we do projects, we do not rely on templates. Most of our partners should know that they always insist that there's some kind of template. They must know it preliminary, but I'm very glad that Biljana and Sofia municipality, they know that every time we start from the very beginning, and every time we have different issues, and every time we have to find a different approach to solve the issues. And the last principle is, for me, it's really important. We do not obey. I mean, I don't give whether it's municipality or somebody else, we do not obey. We have partners. We respect very much what our partners require from us, and we discuss different things, but we do not obey to stupid laws or regulations that we don't find that's important. And this is the only way in order to do great things, and that's why Sofia is a great place to do, because people like Biljana and Sofia municipality and the mayor of Sofia are doing things our way. They are listening to us, we are listening to them, and together, mutually, we are going in the years, evolving all the time, and hoping that this is going to continue many more years. So, in a summary, first of all, we are part of Sofia calendar of culture events. The second important thing is that we started in the River Channel with one-day event, but now the projects that we are doing and that you saw are globally recognized. I mean, even guys from Hawaii are writing us congratulations about certain projects. The transformation in the neighborhood, we mentioned that it was initially a hooligan neighborhood. Now it's more urban art neighborhood, and it's more famous with the urban art in the neighborhood. In fact, starting doing big murals, as Bosco said, from some fucking serious shit. We started the urban art scene in our country, and in this neighborhood, especially nowadays, there are more artworks done by other artists than us, we are quite happy about that. And we hope that our project, my project with the Whites in Park Vrana, is going to evolve into a long-lasting White Festival in Sofia. And that's all, guys. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you for your amazing presentation. Wow, I promised you that we would have inspiration, everyone, from visiting Sofia, but I think you have blown us all away with that incredible series of images, installations, projects, ambitions. The plane.
No plane, no fame.
It's just amazing. Thank you so much for sharing all of that with us. Thousands of questions in the chat, as well as people just repeatedly telling you how much they're loving what they're seeing, the amazement, the excitement, the delight. But some practical questions for you, which, if you don't mind us bringing it down to earth, it would be helpful for us to understand, so
All
that
right.
our city partners can enable more such projects. You talked about not obeying, but respecting the public. How do you work with people, say, in the blocks of flats that you are working on? How do you get people on board with your outworks outside?
This is the magic that I do. You know, our company, the name of our company is Empatia in Bulgarian. So when you go on the field, you have to be really simple, respectful, and authentic to the ordinary guys. If you are such guy, they will give you their respect back, and they will allow you to do everything you want in their own property, in their own neighborhood. If you try to be arrogant, if you try to speak from above to these ordinary guys, then you're doomed. And this is the first and more important wall about this. After the first projects, then you have the credit of then you have the credit, and they are much more easier to be convinced in one or other thing. But initially, and the most important thing is full respect to the little men, little women, little guys, and the kids in the neighborhood.
And sometimes we really take into consideration what they're telling to us. Like in some of the art pieces, there are some small ideas and bits and pieces that came from the people on the street, that came by and said, why don't you put this here? Or why did you do it that way and not the other way?
For example, in Grandpa Dobri's artwork, a great woman came, she brought us food and Bible, and she asked us to draw a white pigeon on the wall, because this is the sign of Holy Spirit, and we were okay. And she make us, we were there, Krishna guys, Muslim guys, Catholic guys, Orthodox guys, and she gathered us and he made us pray. And there is always some magic in the projects. I mean, if we start to tell you all the magic stories that we know, experienced, it's going to last forever. But this is probably the strongest moment that we experienced, because we were desperate at that time. It was very hard for us in 2013, because it was for the first time we had so many issues. And after this prayer that we did together with this lady, everything went up and smooth. So this is the formula: full respect, and you have to listen.
Good principles, full respect, listening. Thank you. Okay, less fun. Can you tell us about some of the funding for these projects? I saw some logos for MasterCards. Obviously, you work with the city. These are really large-scale projects. Ambition and inspiration get you so far, but where does the money come from?
This is again very tough question. The first and most important thing is that we rely on the budget that we are going to get every year from the Sofia municipality. We are not getting it just like that. We have to apply. We have to fill many documents, criteria. We have to because Sofia is trying to evolve the art scene, and we have to be in compliance with all the criteria that they have embedded in the documents. But it's a process that once you have learned how to be a good partner in this process, it's not so complicated, although looking from outside, it looks really complicated. And when we have the money of Sofia, then we start, then we feel more confident, and then everything else is much more easier because we are absolutely sure that we can do some part of the project, and then having the money from our partners, we can explode the projects on different scales. For example, when we do a project, we plan it that the project must be executed on different scales, small, medium, large scale. For example, the story with the plane of Lufthansa, the project is called Nordic Warrior, and when we developed the project, our idea was to destroy the plane because this was the first plane who was intended to be recycled by Lufthansa Technik Sofia. So we decided, okay, great, this is going to be a great Nordic funeral. And some guy liked very much the plane and bought the plane. So we didn't have the opportunity to shoot how we destroy a plane. So as you see, everything is pretty dynamic. Everything changes all the time. So you have to have different scenarios in order to create a plane. In that particular case with the plane, we needed 1 year in order to find out the ending of the project, because I didn't show you the video. The video is pretty spectacular, but as Ivan Moskov said, guys, we don't have the product in our commercial, so now we have to create another product. So every time you have to be able to change, to adapt, to be creative, and to rely on the partnership with your partners. In this case, with Sofia, and with Lufthansa Technik also.
In a way, that's another version of the empathy that you're talking about, isn't it?
Yep.
Responding.
It's the base of everything. If you are arrogant, you're not going to achieve anything. Sorry that I'm interrupting you. You have to have in mind that in these projects, many guys are putting their careers on the line because of us. In the metro parking, in the airfield of Sofia, the chief of security, the chief logistic manager, the PR manager of Lufthansa, they are putting their careers on the line, and it's all depending on us. So we have to be extremely well prepared, well organized, well engineered in every detail in order not to blow their careers.
So professionalism and care, very important. A nice question from Kate, which you've told us a lot about, but I think we want to hear more on. What impact has this had on the community in Sofia? You've talked about people looking to you now to see about your process. Your artists have become more famous. This is internationally renowned. You're a tourist area. But what do you think it's done to the inhabitants of the city to have
First and most
happen?
important thing is of this impact is the fact that people saw that even idiots like us can do a change. I mean, at that time, it was not thinkable that something can be changed. I mean, you saw in the video how desperate and gray is the neighborhood, and nobody thought that it's possible anything to be changed. And when they saw that we can do the change, they started doing the change by themselves. They started doing gardens and all different kinds of activities. And the fact is that we started in Sofia, but right now there are more than 20 projects in different cities in Bulgaria, inspired by our project. So the implications of this impact are really great in many directions. It cannot be observed at once, but the fact is that right now we are speaking with you, the idiots from the neighborhood.
We love your idiocy. We absolutely love it. I am going to have to sadly draw this conversation to a close given the time. It's 2 minutes before the finish. May we have a copy of your presentation to
Of course.
over and watch some more?
We are
And if
going to put a link in the chat so you can download it.
Thank you so much. And if we do have any more questions, are you okay for us to send them via Biljana, Maria, and Doncho?
Yes, of course.
Or
In
we can
future.
even leave our emails in the chat so you can write down whatever you want
It's
to
up
discuss.
to you guys.
We're open.
I mean, I think our basic question is when are you coming to my city? I think that's what we all want to know. But there may be some more detailed things that come out about the practicalities and so on. So it's just great to know that we can carry on the conversation.
Guys.
On behalf of everybody.
Rebecca, you should ask Claire about that. You should ask Claire when Yasen and Kalina will come to London.
Yes, Claire, mission, please.
Okay, there's a gauntlet. Received. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Come on over. So thank you so much, guys, from
Thank you.
everybody.
Thank you very much.
Love
Thanks
your
for your
work.
time and for
We
the
love your
attention.
effort.
And we are at your disposal.
Bye, guys. I'm going to off the thing right now.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
Thank you so much. And thank you, Sofia, for inviting such wonderful inspiration into our morning.